Hello, Gassets, and welcome back to the Rovers Report. I know it's been quite a while since I've been back on here, but as I said on Twitter, I've started a new job, moving house, and I've also been a bit under the weather. So yeah, I know it's been about a week since you've seen me. Fortunately, there won't be a view from the opposition this weekend, but hopefully next week we'll get back to schedule, and I'm really looking forward to sort of, getting into a regular routine now and probably giving you 2, 3, 4 videos a week. With that being said, I thought the best thing to do would just be a sort of roundup of what's been going on with Rovers and give my sort of opinions on what's happened. So, you've had the recently and today the postponement of tomorrow's fixture. I'll give a bit more information on that and my thoughts on that. We've had the conclusion of our transfer window, brought in a few new faces. There's also been the consultation with fans about the potential changing of the badge. Again, I'll give my thoughts on that. And then just at the end as well, I was recently sent a book by James Allsop, which I will be making another video for, but I'll just give a little shout out to that. So if you're new around here, please subscribe. If you enjoy the video, give it a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into it. I guess the first place to start will be with the most recent news that due to the Queen's death yesterday, there will be no fixture this weekend, and there will be no fixtures across the whole EFL. I think the initial reaction is one of frustration. And yeah, I completely get that as well. But I do think just if you have a little bit of, just put it into perspective a little bit. I know other people be going to work, but it's one weekend of football. The Queen has been a loyal servant to the country for 70 odd years now. I'm no royalist. I'm not a huge fan of the monarchy at all. I'm not going to get political about it. But, I think just for one weekend to postpone the games as a mark of respect, I actually agree with it, to be honest. I think it's annoying because, we all want to sit there and watch our team play, but, for such a significant figure, I personally think it's not too bad a decision. Let me know how you feel. I can definitely see the other side of it. Other people are going to work. The country isn't coming to a standstill, so why should the football stop? But I just think as a nice gesture, just to show a bit of respect, I am actually behind it, so I imagine that will probably be quite unpopular with a lot of Rovers fans. But if you just take a step back and just think, out of 52 weekends in the year, one weekend without football isn't the end of the world, is it? For someone that's done so much for the country, yeah, I think it's actually probably the right decision. It'll be interesting to see whether the Premier League follows suit. But yeah, for me, probably the right decision. Frustrating we don't get a game against MK Dons this weekend, but that's another week of training for us, another chance for some of the players to get back up to fitness. So for me, not the end of the world and probably the right decision. Let me know what you think. Secondly, let's speak about the club sort of putting it out there to fans whether we would be interested in having a potential badge change. For me, my initial reaction, as I'm sure a lot of people was quite reactionary. I thought, definitely not. We don't need to change our badge. I think it's actually a very, very unique badge in terms of, if you look around the EFL, you look in the Premier League, there's nothing quite like that. But then again, if you look back in the past, Rovers have had badges before that have been changed, and I'm sure they were fan favourites before. I think, it's very much in keeping with this idea of Bristol Rovers becoming a new club where we're professional, we're modern, and I get it. It's obviously Tom Gorringe and his team are behind this. I'd be interested to see what Barton thinks on this. I'm sure he probably doesn't care too much, to be honest. He's got no affiliation to the club prior to his management here. I think the key for the club here is just to communicate with the fans and gauge the moods. I'm only one fan. For me, I don't know what I would say actually my decision on that would be. If they showed me a few different options, then I'd be open to it. Let's just say that I'd be open to it. I'm not fully against it. But if the majority of the fan base do not want to change the badge, then they should not do that. Do you know what I mean? You can't be making decisions which 80% of the fans disagree with. It doesn't matter how much that will benefit the club profit-wise, or ultimately that's what it's about, isn't it? Profit, sort of creating this new brand. I'm sure they'll be able to sell new merchandise. Similar sort of way to, you've seen Bristol Bears do it, and you can't deny that's definitely benefited them in terms of their sales and sort of building that new generation who will know the badges and sort of. But yeah, as I said, I think you let the fans decide on this. I've seen mixed reactions, to be honest.
I think quite a few people love the badge, but many people would be happy to see it go. And if we haven't seen any designs they've proposed, so if they are nice designs, then I'm not against it. Again, this is something I'd really like to hear from you guys about. Let me know what your thoughts are on a potential new badge. I don't think they've gone about it in too bad a way. They have consulted the fans first, and this is stage one. Hopefully, when they've got the responses back, we'll see what happens. So yeah, for me, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'd like to see the potential new designs. And finally, and something I know which is it's been almost a week now since it occurred, but that final deadline day, our 3 signings we made, Bobby Thomas, Josh Coburn and Sylvester Jasper. On the surface of it, 3 decent signings, not blowing me out of the water. At the end of the window, it tends to be these sort of loan signings. Barton's spoken about this previously, that the Premier League Championship clubs will wait till the end of the window, assess where their squad is, and then they can let players out. So you sort of get a trickle-down effect. And Bobby Thomas obviously scored on his debut against Morecambe. Looked pretty good, to be honest. Looked quite assured on the ball. Obviously a very strong presence. Potentially a good partner for Connolly. In there we've got options now at least. We don't have much seniority or experience in there, but we've got options. Sylvester Jasper came on. It didn't look particularly exciting, but he's obviously that sort of tricky winger, bit of pace, bit of skill, and it's good to finally have an option of an out-and-out winger that we can put out there. I expect to see him feature in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, Josh Coburn coming in from Middlesbrough comes very highly rated. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. I think people have said he sort of fits similar sort of mould to Ryan Loft. He's a big lad, but he can also get about the pitch a bit. Middlesbrough fans seem like they rate him quite highly, so it seems similar to the Elliot Anderson in many ways. Both North East lads, both dropping down quite a few divisions. But yeah, I think those 3 signings is probably what Gashead's expected. Not necessarily the players, but those types of players. In terms of where it leaves our squad, I would have liked one more experienced centre-back, but as I've said, we've now got options. So if there are injuries or we want to try something different, try 3 at the back. Still a bit short at left-back, I would say. Trevor Clark and Josh Gordon for me. I think Barton would probably admit he'd probably prefer those 2 to be his understudies and have an out-and-out left-back. But then again, you've got to consider we've got players to come back. We've got Connolly to come back. We've got Coburn. We've got Gibbons to come back. Gibbons to come back. So, yeah, I think the squad is okay. I would say good. Could have had a better window, but overall, we know we started slow last season. So hopefully this squad can start to gel, and as the season goes on, we'll see better performances, and some of these players will start to come into their own. Anthony Evans last season didn't start off very well, and by the end of the year was arguably our best player. He hasn't started well this season, so yeah. Transfer window for me was 6, 7, 8 out of 10. And in terms of the start of the season, be patient, let the squad gel. But yeah, that's what I've got to say on the window. How did you guys think the transfer window went? Let me know in the comments below. So yeah, that's my little roundup. As I said, I'll be looking to do more videos in the upcoming weeks. This Sunday, look out for a sort of League One roundup video from me and Tom. I'm sure he is a regular contributor to this channel, so look out for that. That'll be dropping in about 6 PM in the evening. Just before I go, I'd like to give a bit of a plug to a book by James Allsop, which recounts Rovers' unbelievable season last year. He very kindly sent it to me, paid out of his own money, and honestly, I really recommend it for Rovers fans. Go and have a look at it, because he retells every game of that season. It's from a fan's perspective, and it really evokes the emotions that you felt watching the games. And I think it's a must-buy for any Rovers fans out there. It's honestly, I was reading it and I couldn't put it down, because you obviously got the start of the season where we're not doing too well, and he puts those sort of emotions into words. And then when it gets to the sort of Rochdales, the Port Vales, and the Scunthorpe game, of course, yeah, it brings those days back to you. And I think that's a real talent from him, and credit to him for being able to put that down onto paper, because it's not an easy thing to do. But yeah, as I said, I think if any Rovers fans do want to buy it, I'll put a link down in the description below. Oh yeah, and I couldn't recommend it more. Like it's honestly a brilliant book, and for any Rovers fans, you need to read it just to relive those memories once more. So that's it from me, guys. Like I said, like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you later.